You know that moment when the con you got into is months away, so you don't really think about it until now it's like a week away and you have nothing packed yet? Yeah. Let's get con prepping. Hi, I'm Ivy. I'm a Vietnamese-American digital artist and small business owner, and I run Drawn by Ivy, a small art business selling cute merch inspired by everything I love in everyday living. I sell at anime conventions and art markets, and here on YouTube, you can find vlogs documenting my experiences selling in Artist Alley and running a small business. And welcome to Panic Prepping, where what I'm doing will give you an example of what not to do when prepping for Artist Alley. AK, please don't try to panic prep in 1 week for a convention of this scale. And the convention we are panic prepping for is none other than Anime Expo, one of the, if not the largest anime convention in North America. Last year, they had 407,000 people in attendance, which is an absolutely insane number. AXT's attendance from people all over the country and even all over the world. International attendees and artists alike will travel to LA to attend Anime Expo, and this is my second year in Artist Alley at Anime Expo, and I am so thankful and excited to be returning, but we have a lot to do. So let's get to it. So we are officially T-minus 7 days away from the show. Setup is on July 2nd, but I actually have friends coming to town July 1st, so I would like to be free and available that day to take them around town. So realistically, we have 5 days to prep. I moved just last week, so the office is currently a mess, to say the least. Everything's still inside boxes, and my inventory is kind of everywhere. This move really happened during the most chaotic time possible, and so unfortunately my last few weeks have been packing and moving boxes instead of prepping for AX. So that is how we ended up in this panic prepping situation. So far the only thing I have set up is this desk, and by set up, I mean my computer is on it and turned on, which I needed to log in and make my eggs catalog, which I just finished and posted today. But now I actually got to prep the products I'm selling and figure out my entire table display situation. For the past 2 years, I've been using this FlexiSpot standing table as basically my workspace for everything. From editing vlogs to admin work to drawing to inventory prep, everything was done here. My workplace was fairly small, a corner of my living room for those who don't follow me on social media. So this was the biggest table size I could get for the amount of space that I had to work with. But it became really cramped, especially when I needed to do prep work for Artist Alley and just manage my inventory. So I honestly just found myself working on the floor most of the time whenever I needed to pull out my big organizational bins. So my plan moving into this space was just using this table as my admin, drawing, editing workspace, and then getting another bigger standing desk for the office when I moved to use as my more hands-on workspace. So imagine my excitement when FlexiSpot reached out and offered for me to try their new E6 standing desk. I have been using an older version of their standing desk for the past 2 years, love it, but I was so excited for a chance to upgrade to one of their bigger standing tables. I got their 78 by 30 inch standing desk with a bamboo top and white leg. I think we have a light wood white aesthetic going on in the office currently, looking at all my furniture, so my goal is to keep it that way. Building furniture is not my most favorite activity in the world, but I did build this small one on my own, so theoretically I could have done it on my own, but I did recruit my fiance's help because this new desk is a big boy and the packages that it came in was pretty heavy, so I had very little confidence in myself to be able to lift it easily. And there it is. Look at how clean it looks.
I think this is taller than me. F it. So theoretically, I could lay on top of my table if I wanted to.
But also look at how tall this table can go. I'm 5'2", and at max height, it is almost my height. You'd probably be comfortable standing while using this desk as like a 7-foot person, and that's kind of wild.
I'm like one head taller than the table at max height. Big summer blowout.
It could also hold up to 330 pounds. So if I stack a bunch of boxes of my enamel pins and charms on here, I'm not afraid of it collapsing on me. I also like that you can save your settings for standing versus sitting for this table, so let me demonstrate. So with one click, you can adjust the table to your preferred height when you're sitting versus when you're standing. Having this desk is such a major upgrade to my space, so big thank you to FlexiSpot. Chai, what do you think about this table?
I think it's great, Mom.
But anyways, it is getting late, so I should probably get ready for bed so that I have enough energy tomorrow to resume the rest of this panic prepping. But I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Hi friends, it is June 26th and a moment to appreciate this natural lighting on the office space. I was so happy when I saw how bright the space was, because although my last space was an upgrade from a lightless bedroom, there wasn't really that much natural light, which made getting good lighting for filming and streaming and everything really difficult. And it was honestly a really big hurdle to jump over anytime I wanted to take out my camera to film studio vlogs. But with this lighting, we have now expect much more studio vlogs coming your way. But anyways, back on topic now, we have a lot of panic prepping to do. I have like 5 bajillion things going on in my head right now, and it always happens leading up to a con. There's just so many things to do and little things to keep track of, and my mind is like racing 100 miles an hour. So I'm going to take a moment to sit down and brain dump everything I have going on in this little noggin down onto my Notion so that I can go through and sort out every individual task into their respective categories and also assign them to days, just to kind of get that mental load out of my brain. And then right after that, we will get to actual prep work. So today I'm mostly looking at unboxing and quality checking my new enamel pins, and then going through my pin stock, counting out what I need for the convention and prepping all of those onto backing cards. It's a lot to do on the list, but let's hope we can get everything done. But before we can do any of that, as you can see, the shelves that I use to organize my stock is literally still saran wrapped from the move, and I have yet to properly set them up. And prepping inventory is going to be really hard without these shelves up, because all of my storage containers and all my enamel pins are in storage right now. So I'm going to actually take a moment to try to get these shelves all set up very loosely. My goal is just to get my shelves up and my bins of pins and charms onto the shelves. Doesn't have to be exactly where I need them to be in the future. That is for a proper studio vlog in the future, but I just need them on the shelves so that I can actually start working on inventory prepping. So let's get to work. Heavy. Oh my goodness, I am strong. I basically have the bare bones of everything that I need pin and charm inventory storage wise, and like my stickers and some charms are over there. We're gonna have to work with this for now. It's not the best. I still have so many things in boxes scattered around the office, but this will have to do for the work that we have to get done for Anime Expo today. So let's get to work because I have so much to do. Oh gosh. Yesterday the packaging for the FlexiSpot table came with a bunch of these large pieces of styrofoam. So I saved one and cut it to size, and now it fits perfectly onto the table as like this gigantic workspace to prep enamel pins onto pin backings. I already unboxed this on camera to film an unboxing video for Reels, but let me show you all the new enamel pins that came in for AX. Also, ignored the state of my nails. 2 cons and moving has been very rough on them, okay? We have this Okarun pin. I think the screen printing on this one turned out so nice. And this Momo pin, her like hands are printed on this translucent glass material with some screen printing on top. So I really like how that effect turned out. Yeah, Turbo Granny. This Jinx pin, she turned out so cute. Then here is Vi. And then my first OC pin, it's this capybara. This design is actually going to be used for one of the reversible bucket hats that I'm planning, but it was too cute to not turn into a pin. This next package I am so excited about because I've actually had the design for this kind of like as an idea and done for a while now, but I never actually got them made into pins. Here is the second spinning enamel pin in my collection. It's Jujutsu Kaisen themed, and it spins around like this. And then I have 2 more boxes. These are mostly charm restocks. So I restocked on this Nami egghead charm since this design is pretty popular. And then I got Zoro made in a different color variant than the one I currently had. I had drawn him before I saw egghead animated, and so his color scheme that I went with off of this picture online was like a green jacket and some black boots, but this is the actual canon colored version in the anime, so I remade the charm to be accurate to that. And then I got a bunch of Bungo Stray Dog charm restocks. I was running low on a few of the characters, so I wanted to make sure I had them in stock for AX. They're all mixed up in there, so I have to go through and organize them. But we have Nikolai, Chuya, and Rampo. And then Po, Atsushi, and Akutagawa. So if you're a Bungo fan going to AX, don't worry, I got you. I restocked all my Bungo charms. And then lastly, we have another box of restocks. These are mostly Haikyuu pin restocks and also my One Piece spinner pin, but we have Osamu here. And then also Atsumu, Yamaguchi, Akashi, Suga, and then the rest of these are my One Piece spinner pins. These pins take a while to make, but I have a really hard time keeping them in stock, which is a good problem to have. But I am happy that they are in stock again for those of you who are looking to get one at AX. So we have a lot of inventory to quality check and prep. So I'm going to completely lock into the task on hand now, and I'll see you later when I am hopefully closer to getting through all of these boxes. Alright, it is 7:25 p.m. I am tired. I got through grading all of the new pins and also putting a majority of my pins onto backing cards. I have a few left and I can't prep my new pins onto backing cards yet because I'm actually still waiting on actually getting the backing cards. I did want to try and prep some of my charms today. I think pins were basically done. Took a very long time, but I think the goal for the rest of the night is to prep my charms and also hopefully my stickers as well. Oh, Chai's here to say hi. Can y'all hear him purring? Cat therapy for these trying times. Okay, I'm sorry. Here. I have not checked the time in a while, but it is 11:22 p.m. We still have a lot to do. I am currently relabeling and organizing my pin containers. It's always like a thing when you get more merch into your inventory and then your display slightly changes and you have to figure out how to reconfigure everything into their respective containers with their respective labels. And so that took a little bit, but I am slowly filling out all the bins. My goal is to at least get all the pins into the bin so that I'm done with the enamel pins for AX. And then let's see if I can get to everything else because it's getting late and I'm really tired. I've been working nonstop since morning. Tyler did buy me a Wendy's Frosty as a little treat to keep me going. But y'all, I am sleepy, but we have to do this. I literally only have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday left. So, gotta lock in and finish all of this. As you can see, another table has also been brought in. This table, I brought it in to actually build my setup. In the last space that I had, all of my setups were built on the floor haphazardly. I honestly, at one point, just gave up on even building mock-up displays and just drawing it on my iPad and hoping that it works out when I get there because I just had no space to be able to do that. But since we have so much more space here now, I brought in the table. Gonna do my AX mock-up display here, but I also brought it in mostly because I wanted to see what the storage situation is gonna be like under the table and also like around the area, since AX has very strict guidelines as to how much you can extend past your table and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna try to figure out a system that's gonna work well for us and like keep us organized without like reaching over each other too much or bumping booties and stuff like that. But yeah, okay, back to work. Gotta lock in again. What our enamel pin bins are looking like so far. I have all my haiku pins, missing the capybara ones and the volleyball pin sets, waiting on the backing cards for those. And then another set of pins over here. The new arcane and Down pins are gonna go there. Also waiting on the backing cards on those. So this is what we have so far. I have them organized by number, name, and then a price. There's different prices. All the haiku pins are 15, so it says that up here. But then the filler set is 12 and the capybara one's 15. And then that correlates to all the characters. Down here, these are all backing cards. I don't know how much is going to sell for AX, honestly. I'd done it last year, so I really should have a better idea. But I don't. So I'm going to just bring some like extra stock to keep on the side just in case the pre-prepped ones here run out. I can just restock as I go. Remember how my office looked like at the beginning of the day? Tell me how it has descended into this much chaos in just one day. This is what Artist Alley prepping does to your space. It is not always aesthetic. Ask like any artist that you know. 9 out of 10 of them, their space is probably going to look like this during the midst of Artist Alley prep. There's nothing aesthetic or pretty about this entire prepping process. Everyone's space is just full of little bits and bobs of pieces of paper and plastic, and everything is kind of everywhere. And yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go get ready for bed because I am weak and I am tired and my brain is fried. We finished all of our enamel pins stuff today. Yay, one thing off of the list. But yeah, I am so tired, so I'm gonna go get ready for bed and will realistically sit and sort through today's footage so I can edit as I go. But anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. It is June 27th, T-minus 5 days until Anime Expo. The office is a mess. I forgot that I left it in the state of chaos yesterday when I hurried off to bed like a little sewer rat. But we got lots to do today. I'm going to work on some charm prepping, sticker sheets. Like hopefully just getting all of my actual inventory together today. My fiance is taking Sunny out to the park right now, but hopefully when he's back I can get his helping hand on some of the more tedious tasks like tagging all of my charms and stuff. But yeah, the goal, I hope we can get to it. The goal today is to just finish inventory prep. So making sure all of the stickers and sticker sheets, all of the goods that I'm actually going to be selling are prepared and in their individual labeled bins and containers. So yeah, let's go. There's so much work to be done. Today's drink of the morning is a brown sugar latte. I said drink of the morning because I anticipate myself needing a drink later on in the day. Hence why the coffee this morning, because I will most likely be making matcha sometime later in the afternoon to get myself through. I feel myself slowly descending into chaos, and it doesn't help that the entire house right now is still full of boxes and really messy, and I really, really wish that the move did not happen at the same time AX prep needed to happen, but that is life. We will persevere. And like, I don't know about y'all, but my mental state and the state of my productivity is very dependent on my surrounding area. So when the house is a mess, the office is a mess and stuff, it gives me a lot of anxiety, and it most of the time it ends up to me not being as productive as I want to be. I am completely locked in right now though because AX is happening, and so I must get things done. But I think the general anxiety from things just kind of being everywhere, not having a home and there being boxes everywhere, it's just very chaotic right now. But there's nothing we can do except panic prep our way through this. So okay, enough yapping. Let's go.
We are gonna go to Daiso really quick because I need to pick up some last minute things I need for my display and also storage things as well. So we're gonna head out. Alright, we're here, so let's go. So the bad news is I unfortunately did not find what I came here for. So I was sad, and I got boba to make the trip worthwhile. But also, instead I found these ridiculously cute pouches when I was at Daiso. And I love my pouches. I feel like no matter how many pouches I have, I'm always like, oh, I can really use a pouch for this like specific set of 3 things right now in my bag. So I did not hesitate to get them.
Hi friends, it is June 28th, T-minus 4 days until Anime Expo. I know you're like, what happened, Ivy? Yesterday just ended. Well, I'll tell you what happened. I locked in a bit too hard and my little brain was very overwhelmed by the amount of tasks that I had to do. And so I sat on the floor for a while disassociating and then locked in and couldn't even fathom pulling out my camera to film because there was so much to do. And honestly, I was getting pretty overwhelmed by how quickly the deadline is approaching, and then I think I just got a lot of anxiety and yeah. Anyways, I was feeling a lot better today when I realized how much things I have already finished given the very time crunch deadline that we're working on. But let me take you through a little TLDR of what I got done yesterday and where we're currently at in terms of prep. So yesterday I redid my enamel pin board. I played with the sizing and stuff in hopes of adding more charms to the board with the same amount of space available, which we did. My last board only went up to 21 and now it goes up to 36, but it gives me a lot of room to be able to grow my catalog and put more charms on here without having to make another display. So I made that and sent it into production yesterday. And then I also made my enamel pin board since my old one was getting kind of raggedy and I needed to change the... Wait a minute. Oh my god. Guess what I just realized? These circles don't have numbers! Oh my goodness, it's already in production. I'm supposed to pick it up today. I could go, oh my god, okay, hold up. You can tell how scattered my mind was yesterday because I sent that thing into production fully thinking that it was finished. I forgot to add the numbers. Okay, it's not the end of the world. I can just go in and add the numbers. I'm not gonna write them. I'm gonna try to see if I can like do a little printing situation. The other option, which I'm really high-key tempted to do, is to kind of want to resend it into production, which only sucks because I'm getting this made through Staples. So for Staples, it's next day, pick up in production. The only problem is I was really banking on being able to get these posters made today so that I can actually do my mock-up display. It's really hard to do the display without the actual boards that you need to display your merch on, so that I can get the mock-up set up and then see what elements I'm missing and stuff and figure out my display. But since this happened, that means if I want to remake it, I'll have to wait until tomorrow. But yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. But anyways, let me continue showing you what I got done yesterday, and hopefully there are no more fuck ups because oh my goodness. Okay, let's go. So over here is a pile of inventory that I have prepped and is ready to go for the convention. So yesterday I prepped this box of the mini charms, and so this is all labeled inventory, and then this is extra stock that has not been put into the respective containers yet, just in case AX is popping and these run out, which I'm not sure if I can anticipate, but once again, AX is local, I have no weight limit, so I'm just going to pack extra because it's always better to have too much stock than to sell out and miss out on sales. This one right here is the bin for my larger charms, so as per usual, everything is labeled according to number and name. And then this container right here is for my linking and shaker charms. All right,
I just got back from a quick Staples run. Got some business cards because I'm gonna need a lot of those for AX. Oh my gosh, speaking of business cards, I need to order a new business card holder because mine snapped. That's going on the list of things to buy, oh my goodness. But anyways, here's a little poster unboxing. This is the enamel pin one that I messed up on. I ended up ordering a new one because the perfectionist in me will probably crash out every time I see the ones with the missing numbers. But I'm gonna use these. I think the idea is that if I can, I have to double check how it's gonna be with the height limit, but the idea is that I'm going to have these little like characters cut out and clipped onto the very top of my table. And the idea is that it'll be up high, so for people that are kind of stuck in the back waiting for their turn to browse, or the people that are just kind of walking down the aisle, they can quickly glance up and from these like little characters floating up top, get a sense of the fandoms that I carry at my table, especially for more niche stuff in Artist Alley like Bungo Stray Dogs or Haikyuu and stuff. Sometimes I see people who are walking by in Bungo cosplays or Haikyuu cosplays, and I just have a feeling that they're searching for the merch, but since my table is so big, people might be covering the panels that are showcasing my Bungo or Haikyuu stuff. They walk past the table, or they don't even approach the table to be able to find the things for the fandom that they're interested in. So the idea is that by having these characters that are representative of fandoms at the very top of my table, people can kind of quickly glance, and if you are a person that's looking for like Bungo merch or Arcane merch or Haikyuu merch, you can see that character up there and can instantly be like, hey, it looks like that table carries Haikyuu or Bungo stuff, and approach the table. That's the thought process behind it. It makes sense to me, but let's see if I can end up actually incorporating it into the table the way that I'm envisioning. As for the acrylic charm board, I did include the numbers, thank goodness. I think I'm gonna have another crash out if I made the same mistake with this one. But I got this printed on an 18 by 24 poster, but with the measurement of how this is gonna lean against my display, I only need it to be 17 by 24, hence the lighter edge right here, so I know where to cut for the poster. But this is going to go onto a foam board, and that is how I make my foam board displays. It's a little DIY. If you're gonna do something like this, I highly recommend that you get the type of foam board that is self-adhesive. So there's this like sticky layer that I can peel off and just directly apply my poster on, and it makes this application process for the poster board so much easier. I have tried like glue and spray paint. Those just don't work well for me. They end up bubbling up. So even though this foam board is a bit more expensive than a usual foam board, to me the convenience of being able to do it easily and get like a really perfect finish is worth the extra money. I need a big space to do this. The floor is not even an option right now. I don't know how my office has descended into complete chaos already. Like I said, Artist Alley prep is not a pretty or aesthetic thing, but I'm gonna clear off this table so that I can use it to make this poster. I tidied up the office a bit, so I'm less overwhelmed now. There's less boxes, less things on the floor. But anyways, I got my shipment of charms and my backing cards, and also the stamp cards for the Haikyuu stamp rally. So let's do an unboxing. Here they are. Look at how cute. And make sure to get them on a matte and not gloss finish. Since we are going to be stamping these cards, the matte makes it easier for the ink to absorb and it dries quicker versus gloss. It smears a lot, takes a while to dry. So if you're making stamp cards or any stamp rallies, make sure to get them printed on matte paper. All right, and these are all of the new backing cards that I got made. I've had the volleyball pin set for a while now, but I don't know why I never thought to actually make backing cards for them. Just kind of threw them in plastic baggies, and then I got really bothered when I noticed that this one didn't have backing cards. So Here it is. The idea is that the balls go right in the middle. I'll demonstrate once I start putting the actual pins onto the cards. And then this is the Vi one. We have Jinx. I was really excited for the Don 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 one because I really love how the backing card for this one turned out. I am really proud of this one. Ta-da! And then the last new backing card should be the capybara one. Just an illustrated grassy field with some greenery in the back. I'm gonna go grab my enamel pins to put on so we can see how the final product looks like. Alright, here's how everything looks like on the backing card. We have the volleyball pins. I am so glad the vision for this one worked out. I feel like even though I see and know the sizing of the documents whenever I make these backing cards, I'm always afraid that like the sizing for some reason won't work out or the vision is going to be off, but it turned out really cute. Here are the Jinx and Vi pins on the backing card. They turned out so cute. And the capybara. So simple, but I really ended up liking how this enamel pin turned out. And it's my first OC enamel pin, so that makes me really happy. My favorites though definitely has to go to these Danadon enamel pins with their backing cards. I think I ate with this one. It looks so freaking good. And it's just like so perfectly on theme. I am so proud of how these ones turned out. There they all are. Yay! Okay, now this box has 4 new charms and also just some restocks for charms that I need for the convention. But let me show you all of the new charms that I have. So first I got a restock for the Marukawa bubblegum charms. I was so happy to hear that a lot of people actually recognized what these were and they grew up with them in their childhood as well. But I did draw them featuring my 3 pets, Ollie, Chai, and Sunny. So restock on those, and then a restock on the Howl's linking charm as well. And this one is the newest linking charm in my collection. It's a Danadon linking acrylic charm. So we have like the UFO and Okaru and Momo floating down below like they're getting abducted. It turned out so cute. And then these 4 designs are the last one for my Straw Hats running collection. I don't know why it took me so long to finish the collection. I just had no motivation. But the premise is the Straw Hat member in the front, and then the background is like an important event that led them to joining Luffy's crew, or just an important component of their backstory. So the Burning World Government flag seemed very fitting for Robin. And Frankie's, of course, had to be the Thousand Sunny. I wasn't sure what to do with Brooke at first, but I posted a question on my Instagram story taking suggestions, and there was an overwhelming majority response for Laboon, so Brooks is Laboon. And then Jinbei's is the Sun Pirates flag in the background. So those are all the new charms in the collection. So I'm gonna go prep all of these now to get them in containers and ready for Anime Expo.
Hello friends, it is June 30th, T-minus 3 days until Anime Expo. I know, you're like, what happened to June 29th? Does June 29th not exist, Ivy? Did you not live through June 29th? Actually, I did live through June 29th. I just lived through it so frantically and chaotically that I had just simply forgotten picking up my camera to vlog. As you can see behind me, my mock display is finished, or as finished as I can get it right now. There's still a few little bits and bobs that I have to deal with, but for the most part, this is what my table will be looking like for Anime Expo. But yesterday, honestly, I was just so overwhelmed and stressed, and I actually have been like that since T-minus 7 days, because as like the days that I have available are shortening, this anxiety and the stress has just been rising. This entire year has just been so stressful, and this move plus AX double whammy is really not helping my stress levels. But anyways, back to how we are doing prep-wise. Thankfully, I have finished all of my inventory prep. All the charms are packed, all the sticker sheets and art prints are packed, all the pins are packed, bucket hats, tote bags, all packed. Actually, I lied. I still need to pack the stickers. That needs to go on my to-do list. But okay, 95% of my inventory is packed, which, and I'm also very glad to have figured out the entire table setup, which took like half of the day yesterday. just because there's like a lot of little things that I have to consider for AX as opposed to other conventions. The first thing that I take into consideration is that my fiance will be there helping me with AX just because there is a lot of people there. And although I do most of my conventions solo, so I'm pretty confident in my ability to run the booth by myself, I am not sure AX is a convention that I would like to be alone for, so my wonderful fiance will be there to help me. Last year we went with this setup when there are two like windows so that we can each take a customer at the same time. It quickens the transaction speed since both of us can take the sales at once, which then decreases the amount of time people have to wait in a crowd in front of their table and lessens the potential of a really long line forming and blocking the aisleway. So I had to kind of rework my setup to make sure that this two like window situation can happen again. I also had to find a way to reduce the amount of space that my stickers were taking up. I was heavily debating between a menu style versus a self-serve system for stickers for Anime Expo. Although I do like the convenience of a self-serve system, I did ultimately go with a menu type system that I usually do for my other cons. And I had two reasons for this. My first one is that I think menu style displays for stickers works better for a con that is really busy and fast paced because someone can just go up to your table, do a very quick glance and see all the stickers you have available and then just point or tell me the number or the name of whichever sticker they want and I can grab it for them, versus a self-serve system. Although it's nice to have your customers be very hands-on and like pick up the stickers and take a look at them, that does increase the amount of time that people are kind of in front of your table. And my problem with self-serve for the other events was that a lot of my stickers, half of the design would be covered up, and I would like for people to just be able to come up during AX and take a quick glance and see all of the stickers I have available, especially because AX is so crowded, so many people. There tends to be like people always standing in front of your table and certain things get covered up. I feel like a lot of people, if there was a self-serve sticker rack, wouldn't have the opportunity to come up and like take a look at every individual sticker, versus like if there was a crowd in front of the table, you can still kind of peek in between the holes to kind of see what's there. But yeah, I just think it would be better for Anime Expo if I stuck with a menu style display for my stickers. But then the problem is I added a lot more stickers and my last display for my stickers was not as space efficient. Although it looked really, really nice, it was not space efficient and I needed a way to condense all of my stickers into the display. I did not want like sidewalls for panels up here. I know it looks nice and I could use those sidewalls as a display, but I do prefer no sidewalls just so that my display is very easily seen from both sides of traffic. And so for stickers, I ended up doing like the most popular ones and also my OCs because I'm really proud of them in the front two panels. So these are going to be the most easily visible ones. And then when I bring you in closer, it might be hard to tell from this angle, but these two panels of stickers are repeated on this side as well. And my thought process of that is that, like I mentioned earlier, we will be taking transactions in both of these windows. And so if someone comes up to either window, I want them to be able to take a look over here and see the sticker options here. And let's say I'm checking out in this window right here, I can take a look over here to see the rest of the remaining stickers. But then my thought process is that if I'm the person checking out over here and there's also someone standing over here to check out, it might block the visibility of these available designs over here. So my solution was just to copy and paste the stickers onto this side so that no matter which window you're checking out of, you can get a full view of all the stickers I have available. And then I also had to figure out this stamp rally display as well. For our one-piece shaker, the display was simple enough because I have displayed shaker charms before, and usually, honestly, I just kind of hang it off the grid wall with like a command hook or something. But the prizes for the Haikyuu stamp rally are actually little acrylic standees, so they needed something to sit on, but I didn't want to just kind of have them like over here because I feel like they wouldn't be as easily visible, and I do want to push the stamp rally and have people be able to glance at my table and see the stamp rally prizes really easily. So I remember that I had this little like kind of shelf in storage, so I pulled it out and put it up here, and once I get to AX setup and can grab the prizes, I can put all the standees right on this shelf, and this will be the stamp rally panel. And I never got a chance to show y'all because once again, I've just been so frazzle-dazzled trying to prep everything. But I did finish my acrylic charm display board and it turned out so cute. I'm so glad that the sizing and everything worked out, and with the way that I have condensed my board, it allows for so much extra space for me to make more charms for my August conventions. But yeah, there it is. It looks so nice and clean. I am so happy with it. I was debating whether or not I wanted to include the mirror as a part of setup, and then I ultimately decided that I should, just because I feel like it is very iconic and it's very cute, and if anything, I think when people see the mirror, it does tend to bring them into my table, and I love seeing people take pictures with their friends and family in the mirror, so the mirror ultimately stays. Another thing that I decided to add for this setup are all these pictures of my reversible bucket hats that shows the two designs on the hat. So I have them on every single reversible hat that I have. For my previous setups, I only had these like I'm reversible signs on them, which I think helps, and I think it's quite clear, but people still are like very surprised when they flip it and they see the other design on top, and there's still a bit of confusion. So hopefully with the setup like this for the reversible hats, it will decrease any confusion and people immediately realize that the hats are reversible. And a moment for our enamel pins. I can't believe the entirety of both boards are filled. It is so satisfying to look at, and I love how the spinner pins look over here. But anyways, even though we are much more further in our progress than we were last Wednesday, I still have a lot of things on my to-do list. One of them is to make the stamp for my Haikyuu stamp rally. I already have a Zoro stamp made. I do join a lot of One Piece rallies, so whenever I am in one, I do try to ask for Zoro as the character that I would draw for the stamp rally, simply because I already have a stamp made of him. And although it is very extra and you don't need to match your stamp to the character that you're drawing, I am extra. My heart feels at ease when I have a matching stamp. And so of course for the AX stamp rally for One Piece Gold, I drew Zoro, which means I can reuse my Zoro stamp. But I do need to make a Hinata stamp for my Haikyuu stamp rally, so that is on our to-do list today. And like I mentioned earlier, I have not packed my stickers yet, so I gotta get to doing that. Thankfully, it's just gonna be a lot of pulling the stickers out from storage, counting them and chucking them into their respective labeled number. But that is also on the to-do list, along with making a catalog, which I know you're like, Ivy, you already made your catalog. That happened like 5 moons ago, and you showed us your posted catalog on Instagram. I know, that was the Instagram catalog, but I do want to have a physical catalog to have at the table as well, which means I have to take the catalog that was sized for a social media post and now reformat it so that it is sized to a printed catalog. These are all the little behind the scenes stuff that y'all don't realize that we have to go through, because in this day and age, we must post on social media. But for AX and stuff as well, it is nice to have a printed catalog. So I'm gonna have to get to doing that today. But the task that I am currently working on, then paused to film this, is the most annoying task out of them all. It's cutting out these little signs. These little signs for my stickers, and also little price signs that go onto the new enamel pins and stuff. And it's not a hard task. It just takes so long and is so tedious, and it hurts my little fingies holding scissors and cutting for that long, but it is something we must do. But anyways, as I am cutting these little signs, let me yap to you a bit about my thoughts for Anime Expo this year. AX for the last few years, I'd say had around like 400, maybe 500, don't quote me exactly on that, but it was around like the 400-ish for the amount of artists that's in Artist Alley. And this year, they have increased it to almost 1,000 artists. There are 900 plus artists in Artist Alley. Like Kentia Hall, the hall that Artist Alley is going to be in, the amount of Artist Alley tables looked much more like this. And this year they opened it up and included this entire new section of artists and a second wave of acceptances. And so now we have 900 plus, maybe close to 1,000 artists in Artist Alley. And although I have that part of me that is just so happy that so many of my artist friends got into the second wave of acceptances, because that means I get to see them, and I'm so happy that they have the chance to be at and experience Anime Expo, because I think it is quite a privilege to be accepted to vend there. At the same time, I'm so worried about how this new number of artists is going to impact sales for everybody, because there's only so many attendees that are in these halls, and attendees' budgets and wallets only run so large. So the more artists you introduce to a space, the more thin it runs the attendees' money. You know what I mean? Like, in the end, it does end up becoming more competition for artists. So if you're not confident in your ability to hold your own within this space of extremely talented artists, you're probably going to struggle a bit, right? So if you don't have a very well put together display, if you don't have recognizable and solid branding, you don't have a lot of types of products to offer, how do you make your table stand out amongst this sea of other really, really beautiful displays? How are you going to make it so that attendees that are walking down these aisles see your table and want to stop at it, right? And I already feel like it's pretty hard with big conventions that have like 300, 400 artists and stuff. And although I would say that I am pretty confident in my display, in my branding, in my products, I have no worries about doing poorly at AX per se. I think I will do just fine. And like I say with my friends, you need to have some level of confidence in yourself, pushing to the point of being delusional about your own brand and your own art to be able to make it in this world. So I wouldn't say that I'm afraid of not doing well at Anime Expo, but that doesn't mean that I don't have worries about what the increased amount of artists in Artist Alley is going to do in terms of my performance. I don't think I did poorly, but I don't know if I will be able to reach what I made last year or just reach my goal in terms of sales and stuff. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. We'll see how it ends up turning out. I will be doing an Artist Alley vlog at Anime Expo, so definitely subscribe if you aren't already and stay tuned for that. And I will take you through the behind the scenes of vending at Anime Expo and all the chaos that comes along with it. But also, another worry, which is not anything on the actual convention logistics related side, I just feel like I have been so tuckered out from this last like month or so. I went from like MomoCon into Anime Riverside into like 2 weeks of moving into intensely prepping for AX, and I feel like all my energy has been drained. And so I really hope that I'll still be able to keep up and be energized for AX and like have the energy to still be like, you know, talking and conversing and connecting with other artists and all the attendees there, because that is like one of my favorite things about this job. But if I don't have the energy to do so, then that'd be really sad. You know, like I feel so bad when I'm just like so tired at a convention and my lovely followers and people who connect with my art and stuff are coming up and trying to like seek interaction and talk to me and stuff, and I appreciate it so much. But there are just those days where you're just so tired. Sometimes I feel like I can't fully reciprocate that energy and that conversation, and it makes me feel so bad because I don't want to feel like I'm like being a jerk or like acting like I don't want to talk with you. It's just sometimes there are those days at conventions where I am just so out of it and so sleep deprived and my energy is so depleted that it's just a matter of me not having the energy to be able to keep up with socializing and stuff. But yeah, side tangent. God, my hands hurt. Also, when I was packing my charms and stuff yesterday, I had a very sad realization. In the packet of charms that my manufacturer sent out, they forgot to include my order for the Eevee Shaker charm restock. I messaged them and I was like, hey, I never received these along with the other ones. And they were like, oh no, the shipping department forgot to include these in your package. Which is quite unfortunate because I literally have 4 of them left. They did say that they'd be shipping it out immediately, like today, but I think the earliest they'd come in is by like Friday or Saturday, which fingers crossed they come in by Friday. I lose out on Thursday and Friday for sales for those, but at least I'll have it for Saturday if it comes in by Friday. It's not too big of a deal. It's only 1 charm that I'm missing out of my entire display, but it still sucks because out of all of my shakers, the Evolutions one does sell the best. Hi friends, it is now many hours later on into the day. I just went and picked up my catalogs. So this is printing on 11 by 17 ledger size sheets of paper, and I got them laminated. Last year I designed my catalog so it was just like a full page
up and down on the back, but I found that I actually didn't like that because I couldn't find any display or storage solution where the menu didn't like flop over like this or like flop like this. Mostly flopping like this was what was annoying me, but it just would always do that when it was sitting on my table. So this year instead, I designed it horizontally, and if you look really closely, there's like a marking for a line in the middle. So the idea, hopefully it works, the idea is to fold it in half so that it becomes a booklet kind of situation. This is a much more smaller size, and I found an acrylic paper holder that should be coming later today, and this should fit into that holder fine, and it can sit like this on my table in that little empty spot over there. That is the concept. I'm going to fold this really quick to make sure that it actually does work. Okay, so I just folded it and it did work. The vision was visioning. So we have first page, then you open it up, and then back page. So it's like a little booklet, nice and small. Don't have to deal with the floppiness of the 11 by 17 paper. So this is like one of those little things that you wouldn't necessarily consider until you vend in person or you gain the hands-on experience, because I wouldn't have known that I dislike the way this flops or just the general size of this as a catalog if I hadn't done it last year, realized I hated it, and then had to find a different solution that suited my needs and my table display better. But I'm gonna go ahead and fold all of these now, and then hopefully my catalog holder comes in tonight so we can see how it works out on the table. All right, my little catalog stand just came, so let's try this out. Fingers crossed it works. Have my folded catalogs here. They go in. Perfect fit. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. The vision is visioning, guys. The vision is visioning. That's how it looks like. So stable. Just pull it out. View the catalog. Slip it right back in. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. This little, like, please return catalog when finished sign hanging here. I'm thinking maybe if we put it right down here. Yes, so cute. That worked out perfectly. I am a genius. A freaking genius. Hi, friends. It is, what day is it? July 1st. Hi, friends. It is July 1st. T-minus 1 day until Anime Expo. We are here at setup. My table is basically mostly set up and ready for tomorrow. Thank you for joining me in this panic prepping con vlog. I will be vlogging the entirety of AX. So if you are interested, be sure to subscribe and check that vlog out. But bye-bye for now.